us in prayer before we start.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this time together for this session. We just ask you, God, that you will bless each participant here tonight. Keep us safe and under the umbrella of your protection. We love you and honor you in all we do. In Jesus' name.
Amen. Call the meeting to order. First on the agenda is approve the minutes of the previous meeting. Motion and second. Motion by Brad, second by Jason. All in favor? Any opposed? Second, I have approved payment of bills. Need a motion and a second. Motion by Brenda, second by Harold. All in favor? Any opposed? Third, I need approved treasurer's monthly settlement. Need a motion and a second. Motion by Presto, second by Harold. All in favor? Any opposed? Fourth, I need approved treasurer's budget transfers as presented. Need a motion and a second. Motion by Curtis, second by Jason. All in favor? Any opposed? Fifth, I need approved treasurer's quarterly settlement. Need a motion and a second. Motion by Brenda, second by Harold. All in favor? Any opposed? Sixth, we have approved jailer's monthly settlement. Need a motion and a second. Motion by Presto, second by Harold. All in favor? Any opposed? Next, we have approved jailer's payment of bills. Need a motion and a second. Motion by Curtis, second by Brad. All in favor? Any opposed? Next, we have approved jailer's budget transfers as presented. Need a motion and a second. Motion by Harold, second by Brenda. All in favor? Next, we have approved Grayson County Detention Center SAT policies. I think y'all got that.
Yeah, what that is, there's some changes came down from the Department of Corrections that we had to add to our substance abuse policy. So that's what you have there in front of you.
Motion by Jason, second by Brad. All in favor? Any opposed? Next, we have approved sheriff's monthly settlement. Need a motion and a second. Motion by Curtis, second by Brad. All in favor? Any opposed? Next, we need approved Grayson County Board of Health minutes from 9/11/18. Need a motion and a second. Motion by Curtis, second by Brad. All in favor? Next, I need a motion going to executive session. Motion by Presto, second by Harold. All in favor? We shall return here shortly, folks. Again, we got on the fire. Fire. Sorry it took so long, everybody. Sometimes the wheels of government turn slow, so we have to go over some stuff. But need a motion and a second to come back from executive session. Motion by Brenda, second by Harold. All in favor? We actually talked some litigation issues on a bill that we actually received that's been paid. Actually, is what it was, Ken, and over possible another litigation issue that we have with one of the other departments in county government and with the health department over a personnel issue. So next on the agenda, we have other new business. Anybody got any new business? Norm?
Yes, we had, our invoice came in for our server, and I was gonna see if we could go ahead and pay that bill. I didn't put it on this agenda, because I had to send it back to them because they put taxes on, whatever taxes in, so they sent me a new invoice, put that on there, I'd like to bring it by to pay the bill.
And we already approved to
Yes,
do that.
it's already approved.
We can't put that on.
You know what the amount is?
Yeah.
If you just tell them how much, then they can approve it.
And who it's to.
Yeah.
That way we can get it on the minutes. All right, while you're Googling.
I do want to say one thing other real quick. We're accepting donations of tarps at the sheriff's office. We received word from law enforcement in Panama City in that area that they are in need of tarps to cover up some of the houses that were, the roofs that were damaged. So we're accepting the tarps at the sheriff's office. Anybody wants to bring them in, we have someone on down. I know it's short notice, but we have someone going down there on Friday that's going to take some of those tarps down there. So if anyone wants to bring by a tarp, we appreciate it at the sheriff's office. All sides.
Joe Brett,
Yes, sir.
anything?
No, sir.
How's the coroner's office? The new office?
Great.
Good, good.
Excellent. Y'all
Jason?
got it.
Nothing new, Jason? Brad, Curtis? Grayson, anybody? All right. Old business, we got, y'all want to get up and speak here again? About our old business? We're sorry to keep you all, I know you got your baby here, I apologize.
We did a petition as well for the resolution to supporting medical cannabis legalizing it in Kentucky. And we have the letter from Allison Grimes given to you all. And we got over 700 signed petition from everybody in Grayson County, just Grayson County. And we're just wondering your all's stance on it. Do I need to go over it completely again? or-
No, you don't have to go over it. I told the magistrates to actually do a little research on it, and as I said before, as a 27-year veteran of law enforcement, probably 5 years ago, I would have said I'm completely against it. But as I told you all before, I'm open-minded, and I do my research. And when I left here that night, I started doing my research. And I follow you on Facebook and see about your baby and stuff. And I can tell you this, I've got 5 kids of my own, believe it or not, so that's why we created it. So I would do anything that I could do for my child, short of being illegal. And don't know that I don't know what I would do. I don't think anybody in this room would know what they would do in that situation. But I've got a lot of friends that are doctors, and I just want to address the court and tell them. I mean, I'm not telling you anything you probably don't already know. I asked a lot of folks. I left out of here and I went out, and of course you all know that I got won the judges race back in May, and I always said that I would, listen to the people. And so that's exactly what I done. I went out and I started asking folks what their thoughts were on it. And nothing had really come up, about, I've never been in a position, this is new to me, I've only been in a year, so it's all new to me. Sometimes I just never gave my opinion about things. And I went home and talked to my wife about it too. And unfortunately, I'm in a position now where I have to give my opinion. I'm going to settle one way or another. I'm not going to say that I don't have an opinion on that. Well, I do have an opinion on it. So I've got with a lot of doctors and things that I know, they're local doctors. And I had one, and I don't want to bring up his name because he's not in politics, and it wouldn't be fair to him to bring it up. Because I don't know where he wants to stand politically with this Democrat-Republican thing. Everybody knows what's going on in Washington and everywhere else. But he says, I asked him, what's your thoughts on medical marijuana? And he said, it's a definite benefit. It helps nausea with the side effects from chemotherapy, appetite loss, glaucoma, multiple sclerosis, chronic pain syndromes, inflammation, muscle spasms, post-traumatic stress disorder, and epilepsy. And I'm going to tell you, this is a guy, if it's a medical question, if he told me I needed to do something, I'd do it. I trust him that much. I went to school with him. And I didn't ask just him, I asked a lot of other doctors and a lot of other nurse practitioners. And I know everybody's got different opinions, but I want you to know that there is some things about, if legislation passes this, that I don't want people, this is my opinion, this is only my opinion, you understand? That I don't want people coattailing you all because of your situation for recreational use. I'm not for recreational use. Okay, I'll take my stance there. I am not for recreational use marijuana. I can tell you, just like my father, and Norman will not care if I say this, my father and his father was raging alcoholics. My father died an alcoholic. I think alcohol is a far more worse drug than marijuana. That is Kevin's opinion. Okay? I've seen it destroy people. I've seen it do a lot of other things. Some of the doctors that I've spoke with have said you could smoke a bale of marijuana and not overdose. But if you drank a fifth of vodka and you've never drank, you could be dead the next morning. So I look at things like that. I listen to the medical professionals, and there's a couple of different wordings that I'd like to put in the resolution and actually go over the resolution that you gave me. But as far as I'm concerned, I am wholeheartedly for your child. I try to imagine my own child being there, excuse me, and what you've gone through. And I can say that if, you know, some of the other court wants to, you know, address or say anything, that I would, you know, I open it up for discussion if you all want to talk about it or anything. And I'm not talking to any of these guys about this, okay, other than just what we talked about at the last meeting, and maybe said a couple other things to them. But I don't feel that, and this is, I'm just giving you my opinion, okay? I don't feel that it's legislators' responsibility to be in the business of telling a doctor and a patient what's good for the patient.
Right. That's kind of what we're pushing for too, is.
Well, I mean, I didn't go to medical school, okay? Nobody else went to medical school, as far as I know, that's in this room right now. I can't tell you what's good for your daughter. We leave that up to physicians. But I mean, when I say I sympathize with you over your daughter, I do wholeheartedly. And I think anybody that knows me in this room knows that I do. So, but there's a couple things that, you know, I'd like to tell you that, and I don't know that it matters, that what some of the other court things. I've talked to Brenda about it a little bit. She's got a husband that's actually.
I'm a lot like Kevin, that I never had an opinion about it, because I've never been faced with any situation like that. But I have a situation where my husband has cancer. You don't know what the future might hold. And so when I heard your story, I have a new appreciation for what you did. And it makes me okay with it for medical uses, but I'm like him, not recreational. But for those that medically need it to survive in some sort of peace,
Anybody else got anything you want to add to it?
400%.
Yeah, go ahead.
You know, you look at the situation here, and I know there's a lot of situations, all families is coming to it. But the very thing I want to say about this resolution is that it be plain and simple, only doctors prescribe the ones that need it.
Right.
That's the only way I'll vote for it.
That's right.
Yeah, oils and that type of stuff. And I've talked to some legislators also, and to be honest with you, I told you it was probably 5 years the last meeting. I probably spoke out of turn. I think it's probably gonna be a little sooner. So, and I've done some research on that stuff. I mean, there's actually 23 states right now
Yeah.
that's legal, and the closest one is Illinois. I was gonna tell you, you know, maybe you could go to Illinois until something happened in Kentucky.
Ohio's coming up.
It's actually
The Ohio
31.
States.
Has it?
It's actually 31 states.
31.
That's medical. And there's 2 other, Utah and Missouri are voting this fall. So there's maybe 33.
Well, when a physician tells me that this is you know, that there's benefits to it, I'm for it. Unfortunately, you know, I hate it that, I mean, I would 10 to 1, I think, rather see somebody use the cannabis oil as I would take morphine, because I've had family members on cancer, you know, have cancer and pass away right before my eyes, and they was on morphine. And I mean, it's an addiction, you know, back is an addiction.
And it's gonna take months to get her off of the medication that she's on, because she's already addicted, her brain is already addicted to that.
Yeah.
And so it's gonna take a long time to get her off, to even get her to where we need her to be.
And I think President Trump actually signed a bill too, that I was looking at. Right to try. I don't know if y'all heard about that, but President Trump actually signed a bill, right to try, about bypassing the Food and Drug Administration. The only thing, you know, and like I said, I haven't read in detail what it's actually about, but I know he's actually signed that too. But anyway. Need a motion to pass this resolution for these folks, and I want to get your approval, to go ahead and sign this. I need to draw it up, and I can sign it probably tomorrow with the court's approval. Resolution that we send to legislators for possible have UK, U of L, you know, whatever we have to do, you know, as far as the medical marijuana issue goes. Need a motion in a second. Motion by Brad, second by Brenda. All in favor? Any opposed? Congratulations. All right, next, I need one thing I forgot is, I need a motion in a second to pass, payroll adjustment on Grayson County Road Department. I need a motion in a second. Motion by Curtis, second by Jason, all in favor? Any opposed? All right, next thing we have under old business, and I didn't ask anyone here, and I apologize. Hank, are you still here?
He left, Judge.
Did he live?
Yes, sir.
Yes, he did.
He was wanting to introduce himself to the court. Okay, does anybody else have anything here that they want?
You guys want to check on the very end?
I spoke with Mr. Can today, had a very interesting conversation, and we're going to wait until after the mayor's race. Of course, Kevin's sitting here with us, he's actually running for mayor of Litchfield, so, we're gonna wait and get with whatever. What's that? We're gonna get after the mayor's race and the council race, and get with the council and with the new mayor and see how they want to proceed, and actually get with the tourism, because we talked about some different stuff with that, trying to do. I think we've got it worked out, and I've got with Jason, and, you know, sort of manpower short a little bit, even on the inmate side. And so that's something that we'd have to come up with, you know, on that. But I have got an opinion from Rich Orenstein, which is Keiko's attorney, and he says that we can do that. So, it'll move forward. It's just, like I said, the wheels of government turn slow sometimes. Anybody else got anything? Jason, you got anything? Kevin, you got anything?
I just wanted to, we hadn't been here to visit since we purchased the ambulances. I wanted to stop by and let you know that they are in service. We're using them. They've already got getting close to 30,000 miles on each one of them.
other than that, they're on the road every day, and we appreciate that. And I know the citizens, we get a lot of compliments on them. The ride's a lot better. Of course, we have a lot higher tech equipment now, a lot higher tech stretchers. The hospital is extremely happy with our new monitors because when we pick you up, we sit in your living room and transmit your EKG before we ever get you in the ambulance. The doctor already has it in the ER. A lot more reliable than the old way that we did it. We could still do that, but we had to get to the truck to do that. Now we can transmit it. And, they're actually, from the time we got contact with the patient till they're getting back in the ER is 4 minutes. So, and that's under the national average right now, quite a bit under. So that with your help and our investment that we've done, you know, the people here in the community are seeing those results. And we appreciate your partnership with us to get those for us. Thank you.
And if you ain't seen those stretchers, they're long.
They're about, they're a little heavier, a little harder. We haven't had fire department help us in some homes to get them in and out, but they're $28,000 a piece, but there will be no more back injuries because they load themselves.
They load themselves.
They're,
Yeah.
And it was a new stretcher, and it was amazing to watch them load and unload.
Back injuries will be, you know, other than us having to lift patients that are way overweight at most houses because the population is beginning to get on the wrong side of the scale. But other than transferring from a bed to a stretcher, we'll have no more back injury loads into the ambulance.
And just so you know, Brenda made a comment, she might not want me to say it, but I'm gonna say it anyway. She said it gives you a new perspective on how, things that you need. If you never need an ambulance or a police car or anything like that, you really don't think anything about it.
No.
But until you need one, and she's needed one, it's gave her a whole new outlook on things. So, of course, I've been in that business, so.
Kevin, I've told Kevin and some of the rest of the magistrate members that when I leave this position, and if I leave anything at all behind, I want them to plan ahead to
Absolutely.
buy and replace the ambulances regular, to know that you're gonna have to do that and to plan for it.
But that vision needs to be in all the government, not just in our department.
Exactly.
With Jason, I mean, Jason works every day down the road, not next week, months and years ahead, and that's what we try to do. But we've not had a fiscal court that was capable to do that, and in some cases weren't always willing to help us. And that all we're doing is helping the community. But we personally, like Brenda, we don't typically plan to use them ourselves. It's the people that we all serve that are using that service. Thank you again.
Anyone else? Norman, you bill?
I couldn't find, it was 9705 and some change, so I don't know.
That would make a check for 9705 and some change. We'll just round it off to 9800, is that okay?
That'll be more than enough, yeah.
I need to go ahead and get a motion in a second on that too, don't I, Clay? We'd already voted on to pay the bill, so I need a motion in a second to go ahead and write the check tomorrow, so.
Because he's already submitted the exact amount and everything,
Right.
unless it's changed.
No, it's not, it's the same as it
It's
was.
already been submitted, I think,
Okay,
just,
yep,
just to approve the previous amount.
Need a motion by Brad, second by Brenda, all in favor? Any opposed? Need a motion to adjourn. Motion by Brad, second by Brenda, all in favor?